Yes, I must admit, I am a Linus Tech Tips cuck. The politics of his employees are insufferably progressive, while Linus himself doesn't seem to understand politics beyond surface-level good things good. But darn it, his videos are actually really fun. I'm a tinkerer and a tech head myself, so I'm pretty much the target audience for most of the stuff he puts out. However, I don't have the time to watch his podcast, The WAN Show, so I tend to only check out the clips that really interest me. And this one, Never Build a PC for Family, really interested me.
Let's talk about a little topic that I call I hate building PCs for people.
Yeah.
Luke,
I do too.
it really does feel like a no good deed goes unpunished kind of situation, doesn't it?
It does. I like building PCs for specific people. And at this point, I pretty much only build PCs for people that I have built PCs for in the past. So I know how they will deal with it.
Okay, so here's the situation. I built a PC for someone back in... Wait, this can't be right.
I think I know who this is.
Okay, well, whatever. It was a while ago. It was a couple months ago or something like that. In February, early February, I get a message. I'm just wondering how to get my monitor to 144 hertz, because apparently it's 60 right now. I kind of go, all right. It was definitely at 144 when I gave it to you, which is all I care about. This is one of those situations where the PC wasn't free, but it was like very not retail, if you know what I mean. Like there was some wheeling and dealing that happened to make sure that this person who was, a family friend definitely got like something a lot better than they would have walked out of Best Buy with.
Sure.
So as far as I'm concerned, I have done my good deed already.
Business over, yeah.
Our transaction is now complete. So I kind of go, are you using HDMI or DisplayPort? HDMI may be stuck at a lower refresh rate. Just basic troubleshooting.
Yep.
I don't know what that means. Sorry. How can I check? And I kind of go, you're going to have to look up how to check. Use Google. Okay. All right. 2 weeks later, I've been having problems connecting my headset mic. When I checked, it's not registering. It doesn't say the model of headset. Here, I'll show it to you, screenshot. I'm like, I don't know. If I was in front of it, I might be able to figure it out, but you might just have to find some troubleshooting guides. I get no fewer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 messages over the next 3 days that go as far as, I really think this is urgent. Please reply to this quickly. I can't do anything on my PC. And I'm sitting here going, what's my incentive to do a favor for anyone at that point?
If you're anything like me, you've probably experienced this too back when you lived at home. The minute you reveal that you know anything about technology, suddenly you're the one on the hook doing free work for every single person in your extended family. Oh yeah, my son's really good with computers. I see him playing video games all the time. Of course he'll come over and set up your laptop and your home network with your printer and your TV's new surround sound system. Second cousin we see like once a year, he'd be happy to do it. No payment required. And, of course, if anything goes wrong, even 10 years later, it's your fault. You screwed it up. They're completely right to be angry at you because you were supposed to handle it. No, it couldn't be all the fucking viruses they installed on their machine, from going to porn sites or installing the new episode of the latest boomer TV show .exe. It has to be you. And heaven forbid this happened to you when you were a kid. Boomers always believed that the family computer couldn't possibly be fucked up by all the weird toolbars and bonsai buddies they installed. It had to be the fact that you were playing video games on it. I even experienced the weirder, lesser-known variant of this. The idea that playing console games in a TV would damage the TV. It's just a picture signal, dude. How the hell is it any different from cable? But these are all millennial stories. And we're old people now, apparently, complaining about how people even older than us used to treat us with regards to new technology back when we were kids. And there's sort of a through line here with technological advancement. Since I would guess the start of the Industrial Revolution, no, we're not talking about Uncle Ted today, the rate of technological change has been significantly faster than before. In the before times, you might have had to get used to a new innovation like once a generation or something, when somebody invents a slightly better medieval weapon or a way to use a draft animal or some shit. But once we started using science to build machines to accomplish jobs for us, the paradigm of labor has completely changed every generation. This necessitated each person acquiring a completely new set of skills than even what their parents had learned, and each generation having a completely different sense of what should be considered common knowledge. Music is an obvious example. Back in the day, you had to have people who could actually play music right there if you wanted to hear it. In 1896, the pneumatic piano player was invented. You know what I mean, that piano with the cartridge in the front with a roll and a bunch of notches in it, where when you activated the machine, the roll would feed through the device and the notches would trigger mechanisms to play the piano on its own. With this invention, you didn't need somebody present to actually play the piano. You simply needed the roll with the song that you want. You install it in the piano and then let it play itself. The record player was invented earlier, as the phonograph in 1877, but the quality of music it produced was far inferior initially, and the first records were made out of tinfoil, not wax, making them extremely fragile. It only really began to take off after the tech improved enough in the early 20th century. Now you don't need a whole-ass piano playing a giant reel, you need your turntable and a record. And so the story goes for the 8-track, the cassette, the CD, the MP3, and now streaming services. Each one is a new way of saving a prior musical recording for future consumption, divided by generation, and the knowledge required to use, appreciate, and create each medium is, for the most part, specialized to that generation. This same divide exists with pretty much all entertainment media: movies, shows, games, books. It exists with vehicles. It exists with fashion sense and food taste and employment. Hell, my parents still struggle with their own smart TV, and I'm regularly employed to set up whatever movie we're watching whenever I visit, even though I rarely go back to my hometown and they know their setup way better than I do. A core component of modernity is the rate of technological advancement is so fast that the previous generation's knowledge and rules about how the world is becomes obsolete much faster than before. Hence the phenomenon of my generation running rings around our parents with computers and the internet. The millennial experience is one of actually getting away with shit online when we were kids, from pirating TV shows or games on the family computer, to downloading porn in a file sharing program when you're really too young to be watching porn. Parents always have their values and their rules, and kids always chafe against those values and rules as they get older. That's pretty normal. But technology gave kids the decisive victory in that fight. What hope do parents have about smarting their kids on the internet when they can barely set up the speed dial on their first non-rotary phone? However, what Linus is talking about here actually isn't about helping an older relative with new technology. It's about helping a younger one. Yeah, seriously. Listen to this.
I feel like this is one of those am I the asshole things, right? For basically just saying, so my response to this wall of text is, sorry, I really can't dig into issues like this. If there's a problem, you'll have to shut it down for now and take it to a computer shop. Or you can try and fix it yourself. I didn't have anyone to help me troubleshoot, and things usually worked out okay. Tongue smiley face.
A little bit of sass on the end. A little bit of unnecessary sass on the end.
But here's the thing. I mean, okay, have you read these articles? And I've heard anecdotally from a couple of people I've talked to this about recently. One who's a teacher and one who worked in an office. And I've read articles about this too, that apparently the younger generation, in spite of growing up with computers, is entering the workplace with fewer functional computing skills.
They grew up with less computer problems because things worked more often.
So that's the thing, right? Is this just tough love? That's what I thought I was doing. Like, look, no, if you want to solve this, if you want to play video games... I
didn't want to pry, but is this a younger person?
This is a younger person, yes.
So I got that vibe.
Yeah.
And in that case, I mean, it seems more fair? I don't know.
Because, I mean, realistically, what do young people even do? Honestly, you're done your obligations for the day by, like, 3 o'clock.
Is that when school ends? I don't even remember.
Yeah. So, figure it out. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it or anything, but that was how I learned. The only reason that I'm doing this today, that I know any of this stuff, is because I was highly motivated to fix my computer because I wanted to play video games.
This is something that I think I've intuitively known for a while, but it's weird to finally hear somebody else say it. The trend of younger generations being acclimated to newer technology and running circles around older generations with it has seemingly been broken. Zoomers actually do have less tech skill than millennials. I think Luke's explanation is partially true, that because things break down less nowadays, there's less incentive to become a tinkerer. This kind of gives the back in my day boomer complaints a bit more credence, that having to deal with the hardships of older, non-functioning technology gave you a deeper understanding of how it worked. To stay on the computer topic, overclocking back in the day meant fiddling with jumpers on the motherboard, and kludging together water cooling components out of aquarium parts. Overclocking nowadays means going into the BIOS, changing a few settings, and making sure your AIO can handle the load. It's just easier, and that's great for people who are sick of doing it the old way, but it also doesn't lend itself to new people coming into the space and truly understanding what they're doing whenever they change that setting in a menu. It's not just that though, it's also because devices are way more black box than they used to be. Black box is a computer term. It means a system which can be viewed in terms of its inputs and outputs, without any knowledge of its internal workings. To somebody who is not knowledgeable about computers, data goes in, data appears on the screen. How does it work? Who knows? It's a black box. Manufacturers of modern technology are incentivized to create black box devices. This is done through two strategies. One, you make the innards of the device as hard as possible to actually access by the average person. Two, you incentivize people thinking in black box terms, like their phone is just a magic brick that does stuff, and its mechanisms are truly unknowable by the human mind. They do this because it allows them to upcharge for the device by pretending it's more complicated than it actually is. It allows them to upcharge for repairs of the device because you don't even know how to fix it, so how do you know what parts or labor even costs? And it allows them to control what you do with the device. This is what is meant by the Apple ecosystem, for example. Why you need to use specific approved apps on Apple devices. Because unlike with a PC that you've built yourself, you're locked out of the back end, the foundational level of the hardware. You have to play within the confines of Apple's software, and anything they don't give you access to might as well not even exist, unless of course you backdoor it. This is why various conversations like the right to repair your own device, or the legality of rooting your phone and installing your own base software on it, are hot button topics in tech circles right now. There's power in controlling how the user uses your device after you've sold it to them. And people who tinker, whether that's installing homebrew on a console or running a new OS on a phone, have routinely been caught in the crosshairs of big corpos. All of this is to say that the technology Zoomers have grown up with is extremely reliable and convenient. And with those benefits has also come both increasing corporate control and the gradual shift away from learning how your stuff actually works. Because most of the time you just don't need to know. Your average Zoomer might be able to pull out his phone and play a game, or access the internet, or record a video. But if you ask them to install an app that Apple or Google didn't want them to install, by jailbreaking the device and running a sideloader or something, they'd look at you like your head was on funny. Why would you ever do that? In fact, this whole thing reminds me of a viral tweet my friend Tina put out a little bit ago. An article on Variety.com claims that the Netflix password crackdown has driven the highest rate of Netflix signups in years. The common knowledge of my generation said that due to increasing tech savviness, people would largely return to piracy in the face of Netflix's crackdown. Joke's on you fucks, I never left. But the reason that Netflix went out initially was because its extreme convenience won out over the relatively complicated piracy methods of 10 to 15 years ago. Go watch my video on Netflix for more info on that. Our Lord and Savior Gaben, the owner of Steam, rightfully said that piracy is a service problem, not a pricing problem. In other words, people pirate your game not because it's too expensive, but because it was too inconvenient to get legally. And he's largely correct. Netflix was convenient. Every show available for streaming legally on one platform, one fee, watch anywhere? Sounds great. But as streaming became less and less convenient, conventional knowledge predicted that piracy would return, and that didn't actually happen. Tina replied to this article with the quip, "The children lack the knowledge to torrent. We have failed." It's a joke, but it's also true. Torrenting's even easier now than it was before, with one-click magnet links, and yet simply signing up, signing in, and flopping on the couch makes Netflix the most convenient choice. Especially among a generation with less technical prowess like the Zoomers. Some Zoomers, in fact, took being called out for their lack of skill very poorly. 30-year-olds on Twitter are so annoying about torrenting. I don't know, Amanda. Is that like the new Karen or something? Maybe a lot of people just figure it's worth spending a little money to not have the hassle of torrenting something, or to watch it on the big TV through the PlayStation or whatever. You can still watch a torrented file on the big TV through a variety of different methods. Like, listen to this bitch, she sounds like a fucking grandma. What happened? You're supposed to make me look like a tech boomer. Way more than I already do with my own fumblings. You should be schooling me on this. Why are you so fucking weak? When you look at all the technological marvels around you, is there not even a single bit of curiosity? Like, oh, I wonder how that gadget works. Maybe I should tinker with it and learn a little bit. Do you even have a spark of consciousness? This is about people who whine about company policies but still pay for its products as if they can't live without them. It's completely understandable with basic modern necessities, but you can survive the inconvenience of pirating or just not watching or playing something. No, it's not. It's about grouchy people approaching middle age, complaining about the kids these days. You see, it is actually a generational thing. They think that millennials are out of touch, but not because we've fallen out of touch like previous generations have with new technology, but because they've remained ignorant. They don't even have a new canon of knowledge that corresponds with their new technology to replace my old out of touch canon like previous generations did. Unless the ever-expanding database of new genders and pronouns counts anyway. Like, listen to some of these fucking people.
How many stars are on the United States flag?
103?
103?
Yeah.
Guess.
I feel like I know, but I don't.
Yeah.
51?
51?
32.
Bitch, how do you not know the stars on your own flag? I knew that shit when I was like 8 years old. I'm a fucking Canadian.
What ocean is on the east side of the United States?
What ocean? Can I Google it?
You guys know this.
I know this. I don't know this.
What ocean is on the east side of the United States?
Pacific? No, I can't do the oceans. I don't do the oceans. Pacific, right?
You don't know the oceans? You never had that world geo class with a little worksheet?
What country is the Queen of England from?
I'm not a politics guy, man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I really don't know.
Just take a guess, like what country is the Queen of England from?
Europe? I don't know.
It's in the fucking name, you doofus.
What's the capital of the United States?
There's a capital? What?
Yes.
Lexi.
Take a guess.
I don't know. Probably California.
Yeah, that's right.
It is?
No, the United States, do we know?
Stop! I knew he was gonna embarrass us.
I know. Do you wait? I don't even want to think because I don't want to sound dumb.
Well, just give it some thought. Deep breath.
Capital of the United
Exhale.
There's no capital of the United
literally,
States.
isn't it?
Is there no capital?
Correct.
Was that right?
No.
Oh!
You guys are UCLA
We literally
students?
go to UCLA. It's, yeah.
Where do you think the Capitol riots you've been shitting yourself for the past few years even happened? Dude, come on!
What group of people did the Nazis target?
Oh, why is it about Nazis? Kids.
Oh my fucking god. This is when you're so retarded that the idea of the Nazis bothers you, but you don't even know why they're bad.
Can you name the 3 Kardashian sisters?
Kim, Courtney, and Chloe.
What are the 3 Kardashian sisters' names?
Courtney, Kim, and Chloe.
Bonus points for the brother?
Robert.
The Kardashians' brother's name. What?
Rob.
Fuck me, dude, we're doomed. Yeah, I know every generation says this about the kids coming up, but I was never this stupid. I could answer all of these questions before I was in high school. No problem, no sweat.
So, y'all sure you don't want to make college more accessible? Just checking.
No, Shaniqua, I don't want to make college more accessible. These people didn't get any benefit from fucking high school. What benefit are they gonna get from college? Some people just don't make it, man. I remember being a kid. I remember there was this one kid who was like eating glue. I was in kindergarten. Even then, I went to him and I was like, dude, why are you eating the glue? Don't you know that's awful for you? And he looked up in this snot-covered haze and he was like, tastes good. That's your average fucking person, dude. Led around by their immediate base impulses with no conception of the future. Even if we sent these failures off to college, what do you think they'd learn there? Maybe they get themselves a gender studies degree, go eat the Play-Doh in the campus pride safe space? This is why we've got people clamoring for historical novels and old movies and shit to be censored for a modern fucking audience. Because the people that make up a modern fucking audience can't stand being even slightly uncomfortable. I can't show you this video because she's deleted it. As far as I can find, there's only screen caps of what happened. But this Zoomer did the whole thing where you dance over some unrelated music with a caption. This one's saying, our generation isn't soft. You're just racist and homophobic. Yeah, bitch, then why'd you turn off the comments if you're not soft? I've said this many times about many different people, many different types of people. My stalwart consistency on this topic has gotten me in trouble with my own fans, in fact. I am correct here. If internet pushback makes you block people or disable comments or cry and run away and log off, you're soft. That's just how it is, because the real world is a whole lot harsher than mean words on a screen. The Zoomers will never have their communist revolution, no matter how much they cry about it, because they have to go to therapy to learn how to order a pizza over the fucking phone. And getting called the wrong pronoun gives them a panic attack. There's no way they're overthrowing a state. I know. I'm on yet another old man dev rant. I guess that's just my lot in life now. But again, at least with previous generational shifts, there was a reason for that superior attitude of young people. They were more capable. They knew how to use that new technology. They were the future of progress. That's not the Zoomers. Their skills have actually regressed. Your average millennial can change out the RAM in a PC. Your average boomer can change out the spark plug in a car. Do you think your average Zoomer can do either of those things? Zoomers are the ultimate paradox. They're tethered to modern technology, and that technology is actually destroying them. Sargon did an excellent video about that over at the Lotus Eaters. But unlike with previous generations, they aren't even getting the other side of that Faustian bargain. They're not even acquiring the benefit of superior knowledge and skill that comes with new technology. Instead, they're getting dumber, because rather than learning about how the technology that dominates their lives actually functions, so that they can one day become its masters, they're simply submitting to it, because it's more convenient to be a coomer and a consumer than it is to understand and create.